Let me show you how to score a movie in GarageBand 11. Under the New Project Chooser, double-click on the movie project type and save your file. I'm going to create a score for a snowboarding video clip. Click Create, and GarageBand opens up a project file, but with a couple of things displayed that you don't normally see. Movie markers and the movie track are displayed right up here with our normal GarageBand timeline. Basically, the movie marker area is the editor for a movie track. So it's just like opening the editor. And the movie track itself is shown and hidden just by choosing it from the track menu. And also, we're currently set up to be browsing in the media browser over to the movies directory. So if you actually have iMovie projects that you've created, your videos will show up here as well. For the moment, I just have a QuickTime video clip on the hard drive. So I'm going to go ahead to my Finder, and here's my Tahoe movie clip, and I'm going to drag it into the timeline and come back to GarageBand. So what I see here is a series of thumbnails giving me an idea of where I am in the movie. And if I zoom in and out, these thumbnails update to show even more information. So it's a little easier to figure out where you are. And this particular clip has no audio to it right now. There is an audio track, but it's silent. I can see there's no waveforms there. So I could actually just select it and hit delete and get rid of this track. So we don't actually need our movie sound at the moment, and I'll actually delete the movie sound track as well. Now, a couple of things to note about the movie track itself. One is there is a thumbnail of the movie up here that will play, and you can see it playing here in real time, but that's a little hard to see, especially if you're going to be working on scoring something. You want to be able to see the movie you're working with. Just click it and open up the movie preview window. You can resize it to basically take over your whole screen, or if you have two monitors, you can move it to the other monitor and watch the movie while you're scoring and while GarageBand's working on the other monitor. I'm going to keep it about this big or so. And the same commands work. Return takes you to the beginning. Spacebar plays the movie. And this is basically your GarageBand timeline as you normally would operate within it, except there's also a video track associated with it. Comes to the end, goes black, and keeps going. Why don't we set up a cycle region that brings us to the end of our movie clip. And that way, when I'm playing the movie, it will cycle around when it hits the end of the timeline. Now, right now, GarageBand is still thinking that there's a tempo to this project, and the default tempo is, of course, 120 beats per minute, so that's what's showing right now. And you'll see that we made it out to, looks like bar 7 or so at the end here at 120. Okay, but if I change the tempo, let's say move it to 140 beats per minute, then the movie stretches out to accommodate this new length. And we have to readjust our cycle region to actually meet the end of the movie where it actually ends. So the tempo affects the overall length in your timeline. So if we're going to try looking through our loops and find a drum beat that might work well as a bed for our score. Okay, so I'm going to filter for rock and blues drum kits and maybe search for something funky and look through and see what we have here. I want to use a real audio loop, so I'm going to look for something. And some of these titles are hidden, so I'm going to show those. And we'll start out, sample a couple. Now the thing is, when I'm sampling these, wouldn't it be nice to see the movie? Well, you can. If I press play right now on the movie and then preview one of my drum loops, it's not going to come in until the next bar. So you'll see that it's sort of a hack to preview them while the movie's going on, but it does work. Click. I'm waiting, and here it comes. Okay, it's actually a pretty good drum beat, 21. So we'll keep 21, drag it into the timeline, drop it off, close my preview for the moment just so I can position my loop properly. Drag that back to the beginning of the file, and we'll loop it out a couple times to see how far that takes us. Okay, that's cool. Although, so if I just keep looping this, I'm going to end up with sort of no drama that happens when he leaves the ground. So I actually want to get to a different beat there. So maybe a fill will work just fine, or some cymbal crashes. So I know there's some fills here as well. So let's hear what we have. That's not going to work. Actually, that's kind of cool. So we'll try that. I'm going to drag that in and hope to hit it right where he leaves the ground. The timing isn't quite perfect, but I'm noticing that if I want to extend this, I can just change the tempo and try to find a tempo that will actually work pretty well. So why don't we try bringing it down a little bit to 136 maybe, for example, and see how our timing is. I kind of like to have the fill end when he hits the ground again, so I'm actually going to come down even a little bit more, see if I can match it. Okay, that's a little bit better. Let me come down just 2 more. All right, that'll be good. All right, and then I'm just going to come back to my regular beat. I'm going to click on the first loop, Option, click drag it to copy it and move it down the timeline. And then I'll end my loop at the end of the video and have my cycle region also end there. Okay, so let's try one more time. Okay, great. So that's a great clip. I'm loving it. Let me make this just a little bit bigger so that you can see this if you're viewing it on a smaller screen. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is start to add to my song here. I'm just going to do something really simple, maybe add a bass part and a keyboard part. So I'm going to click over to my track info panel. I'm going to create a new track, and I'll just choose software instrument because I have my MIDI keyboard connected, and I'm going to look for a bass sound in the software instrument library. So click on bass and sample some of these sounds here with my keyboard. That's sounding good. Excellent. Perfect for snowboarding. Okay, so I'm going to set the count in on and turn on my metronome. So I have a little bit of a count in before I record. And for the moment, I'm going to turn cycle region off so that I can do a single pass, hopefully here, and get a good little bass part going. All right, not too bad. Make a couple of quick edits here to the end since I mangled it a little bit at the very end. All right, let's go with quantizing. I'm gonna do 16th note and see if I can lock it up a little bit. All right, I want to get that last phrase proper, so I'm just going to copy by clicking and dragging, hit Command C, position my playhead, and paste in those notes so I can repeat that at the end. Cool, so now I have a little sort of breakdown section at the very end. Excellent. Next, let's get a synthesizer pad going here. Again, software instrument. And let's find some synth pads that sound cool. Let's see what we have. No. I like that. That sounds good. All right, back to the top. Record armed. All right, let's see how we did. I'll open up the preview and we'll listen to it with our score. Great, so I'm happy with that. Let's call that done, and we'll share our movie with iWeb or with iDVD. If we're going to burn a DVD, we might as well send it to iDVD and get this thing created and burnt out. All right, so here's our snowboarding video. Let's go ahead and preview this. Click on our snowboarding movie. But perhaps the simplest way to get a scored movie out of GarageBand is to share by exporting movie to disk. And we'll just go with a full quality QuickTime. We could change it to Apple TV or something perfect for the iPod or email. I'll just do full quality for now. Click export. Snowboarding with music.mov creates a mixdown, converts it to QuickTime, and we have our QuickTime movie. And that's all there is to scoring a movie in GarageBand.